Oh boy, RJ. Hoping we could get something done tonight. I guess there's two places to start. Do we start with the 1 for 8 power play, or do we start with why in the world was Joey in net tonight?
I mean, pick your poison here. Let's start with why was Joey in net tonight?
Yes, because we recorded the deep dive podcast last evening, and that was something we talked about was the wonderful journey he had to take to get here, to join the Kraken for this week from Charlotte and everything. And one of the things we talked about was okay, probably all three goalies will get a game in this week. Where do we want to see Joey? Do we want to see him or whatever? And brought up the idea of, well, given how tired he was from his long journey and everything, you don't start him in Vancouver. And wouldn't it be nice if you gave him a game at Climate Pledge?
Yes,
Decided against
great.
that.
No, I mean, I thought you were kind of half kidding when you were suggesting that they might play him tonight in Vancouver, given how clearly tired he was and all the travel he had to go through and everything. I think we were both kind of baffled to see that decision about an hour before game time.
Yeah, it was interesting. And hey, Brian, good luck tomorrow with that. And no worries about not staying on with us. It was nice to have you for the live game commentary. Just want to throw that in there. Hopefully catch you before you leave. Yeah, it was just kind of a crazy decision to me. I really don't understand it. And some of the goals were his fault, obviously. Yep. But there was a couple instances of the Kraken hanging about to try again. We talked about this. That first period was just a nightmare defensively. The loss of Vince Dunn, I think, contributing to that somewhat. But I mean, surprisingly, the Borgen-Soucy pairing was really not good, which would not have been my guess if you showed me those defensive pairs before the start of the game.
No, I would have thought the biggest weaknesses would have been elsewhere for sure, but that pair just looked disjointed the entire game.
Yeah, and then there was just all the odd pinches from defensemen in this one, creating so many odd man rushes that the Canucks were able to capitalize on. It was just getting ridiculous at some point. But to the Kraken's credit, second period is no longer our disaster period as we outscore the Canucks 2-0, outshoot them 16-3. That's pretty awesome.
It was one of the more dominant periods of the season, and you could tell they kind of focused on that. And I mean, they flipped the script from the last two games in the good and the bad. The first period going behind, the second period coming back. But yeah, it's still a good second period at least.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yes, it was bolstered by the 5-on-3s and all that stuff. But again, it was just like.
But they were drawing those penalties.
They were,
honestly.
And it was just like, wow, they're getting it done. And every time we were entering the next one with this optimism of okay, Canucks have the league worst PK, we could break through at some point. They just couldn't, and it was sad. And the only time they looked really dangerous was on those early power plays.
And my graphics guy popping it in there, grab his laptop
a little bit. Yep. The only time they looked dangerous on the power play was at the beginning of the second period. And, we talked about going into that intermission. If you're Hackstall, what do you say to these guys or whatever? And we kind of came to the conclusion that the best bet would just be to, get together with the power play. You're starting on a 5-on-3, get together with those guys and really trying to hash it out. And we did. We saw them come out with a new look, which was 5 forwards. They threw Sprong up there onto that top line. So I like that coaching adjustment, and I like starting the period with that. I think that helped them and put them off on the right start. So I want to give Coach Hackstall credit for that on a night where we'll probably poke holes in a lot of other decisions he made. Such as, after the third goal, maybe take a timeout. I get not pulling Joey, but at least take a timeout. Do something. There's still 5 minutes left in that period.
Right. I mean, there's still a lot of time left there. It could have gotten worse. And just the one thing you don't want is to be taken out of a game that early, where even if you work really hard to come back, it's not going to help. Yeah,
exactly. And it's one of those where it was the thing that slowed Vancouver down at that point was Vancouver taking penalties. It was not oh yeah, your guys figured it out in those last 5 minutes and
Right.
slowed it down. It was like, no, Vancouver gifted you momentum back. So, it
Certainly
is
can't count on that.
exactly. It is what it is. Tyler starting us off with the UG. There we go. Got to get that one in. Michael losing to the Canucks sucks. Like that.
Sure does.
Stratic with a thank you, Dallas. Yes, we'll do some quick confetti for Dallas winning against Vegas. And, would it have been nice if they had finished off Vegas completely and won in regulation? Of course. Of course. But then the playoffs would have been completely decided, and for the last week, we would have nothing to really root for. So, got to give Dallas props. They kept Vegas's playoff chances as low as possible, but while still giving us all a reason to care deeply over the next week.
Yep. Don't want to just kill him. Toy with him a little bit,
Exactly.
And also, I mean, what's most important is that if Vegas does make the playoffs, they're guaranteed to play Colorado in the first round now.
Yeah. It would be a good series. Should be, anyway. Michael, also, why do we keep losing 5-2 to them? Okay, yes.
I was thinking that.
This was a problem because as I make these on-screen graphics, I make a new one for each one, and I'll always put in like the opponent and then the score. And I put in the Canucks 5-2, and it was like, file with this name already exists. Do you want to replace it? And I was like, oh gosh. So I named the file, Canucks 5-2 again.
Yeah. I think that's the third 5-2 loss to them this season.
Yeah. I think on a different one I'd reversed the 5 and the 2. That's what got me sick there. So it's
and the other one was 4-2. There's just this template.
Yeah, it's rough. Hunter, the tank train has left the station. May the lottery gods be in our favor. Yeah, we are there.
I mean, this loss, I think, guarantees that it makes them be able to move down one less spot. I think they can't pass Chicago now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, guaranteed top 5 lottery odds now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. X-Kids Eastside swept by the Canucks, and our AHL guy losing to theirs. I know. We had all the chances. Do you think the coaches got together and decided that?
Oh, with like both of them together agreed?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Vancouver was kind of pressed into that. They had to have one AHL guy or the other with Demko out.
Yeah. So they both went with the small boys. They both looked so little in net tonight. I don't know what that was about.
They're not even. Spencer Martin's actually quite big.
I know, but they just both played small. I don't know how else to describe it. Eric, the only time I've ever cheered for Dallas, it is a weird feeling to cheer for a Dallas-based team. I will give you that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that often. Stratic, the season ends as it begins, wondering what the heck to do about the power play.
I think something has to change there in the off season. I think we're certainly at that point.
Yeah, it absolutely has to. As the Brian comments, Hunter, can Shane Wright play goalie? Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah, he's so talented. Probably put him in it, see what he can do.
Yeah. Michael, Kraken are going to win the same number of playoff games this year as Vegas. If we would have said that at the beginning of the season. I know.
Yeah, probably would have taken that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's what else can you say at this point about it all? Let's see, Lindsay. Well, the Kraken may have lost, but I won big tonight. I went to the watch party at KCI and got a hot guy's number, but more importantly, won an autographed jersey. OMG! Wow.
That is awesome. Yep.
Whose autograph?
The whole team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she sent me a pic. She sent me a picture. I saw it. The whole team.
All right, let's go. That is awesome. Wow, very happy.
What a
for you,
giveaway
Lindsay.
item there.
I know that's a nice one. Cool. It's the last watch party, I think, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Hunter, Joey Decord does not look NHL ready. I would rather keep Drieger next season. It's tough. I mean, he had a couple bad ones, but again, at the same time, like there was plenty, certainly in that first period, plenty of defensive breakdowns that were just like old school Kraken.
We've still yet to see a game where they actually play even somewhat solid defense in front of him for a whole game. We just haven't seen it. And yes, he was bad in this game. I'll just flat out say it. Like those goals, the first and fourth ones are on him.
Yeah.
But you look at the spot that he was put into. And it's not like something we're saying after the fact with the benefit of hindsight. This is something we identified yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, that
that this was not a good spot for him. So I don't want to judge him too much on this game.
exactly. And I mean, Drieger looked bad in his last start too. Like, we are still not like out of the woods when it comes to any of these goaltenders looking great. If you look at all three of their last games, they're all bad, all
Yeah.
bad. So it's tough. I say float both their names. Take the highest offer. I think
Yeah.
that's the way to play it if you're Ron Francis this offseason. Ferris DeCourt overall, I think he did okay. Tough situation for him with the defense giving clear opportunities to the Canucks. Again, it's so many odd man rushes and stuff. Like it's just hard. Michael Hackstall bought himself another year, but so many suspect decisions this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how in danger he was, but yeah, like with the power play, somebody has to go for that. Like I wouldn't mind both assistants maybe not coming back next year.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, they do seem to like Jay Leach, and I think the PK made big strides. I could certainly make the argument that he should stay,
Mm-hmm.
but McFarland, with this power play, I don't know how you keep him around.
I don't either. Um, let's see. Lindsay, question for chat. Since the jersey is autographed, do I wear it or frame it? That is a good question, Lindsay. That is quite the dilemma you have as well.
Yeah, I would say frame it. It's certainly by like the whole team too. It's not like one autograph
Yeah.
to hold up. It can be perilous if you wear it anywhere. Like you don't want to get it stained or anything. I would frame it.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you're going to wear it, you got to commit to wearing it. And it's like the jersey you always wear, and you just, you accumulate dirt and grime and stains and all that stuff, but that's your thing, you know?
Hmm.
Like if you're a season ticket holder or something, I might go in that direction and just like you wear the crap out of it because it's your thing, and you're going to
Yeah,
all the games or whatever. But um, otherwise, yeah, I'd go the frame it direction.
yeah. Seems like a lot of chat agrees.
Yeah, I mean we've got a
Problem is that
couple.
she lives in a studio apartment with minimal wall space. Yeah,
That's
I know the struggle.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to get creative. Probably they're not small frames, but it's the way to go. Um, let's see, Lindsay piling up the W's. That is for sure. Good night for Lindsay. Let's see, Stratic. I thought the whole point of having three goalies for this back to back was to never having to play totally unrested goalie, and then they played their least rested goalie. That yes, like that's what I'm saying. Like there is no logic to this.
Just mismanagement any way you sliced it, really.
It's unbelievable, and as you said, we identified this yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday,
this is
like
not hindsight talking.
like the quote was like, just don't, like, don't do this to him, or what was the quote? Like we'll know like how the
How
organization
the
feels.
organization feels about him, based if they throw him in there tomorrow and just throw him to the wolves. I believe you said throw him to the wolves.
Yeah, yeah. So that's now we know. Now we know. Um, that's crazy. Put it on the fridge. You'll see it every day. It's not a bad option. I will say, my house growing up, the downstairs powder room was our
Mm-hmm.
sports memorabilia room. All the
Such a
signed
cool
stuff
room.
we put in there. It's all in there, floor to ceiling almost on the walls. Just tons of stuff. Um, let's see. Ty, long term plan. I know it's fun to wear, but you only get one season with that patch and sign potentially. Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that gotta go into that. Scott, I thought Decord looked shell shocked at some points. Too many soft goals. They had it at 2-3 and had momentum in the second period. Yeah, and then they just decided to not do anything. And this has been a problem the entire road trip, if we're going to call this part of the road trip with last weekend. They, where's the offense coming from? What line is generating offense? We were shocked at how often we were just like, we were at some point in the third period, we were just like, throw Riley Shahan back out there. Get the fourth line back out there. It's the only line doing anything. Because it's
Yeah,
true.
they were driving. They were driving everything.
The Gord line is not. It's their first line now, and it has to be their first line, but it is not producing anything. Like
No,
anything.
not at all. And you look at it, I think, through the game. I'm checking the ice time right now, but you look at the Gord line and at even strength, they played like third to fourth line minutes.
Yeah. And it makes sense. They weren't doing anything. Like, why would you keep just rolling them out there for no reason? The Beniers line was okay, and then the Wenberg line was just non-existent.
Yeah. No,
Just
the Gord line actually did play like solidly the fourth most of the lines, of the
yeah,
forward line.
yeah. See, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like again, I'm not like totally trying to be just like, oh, let's all like cut Joey some slack or whatever. Because like as we pointed out, he did let in a couple soft goals. No one can deny that. But I do think that this issue is far bigger than just like him. Like there was issues. Again, 1 for 8 on a power play. Like I mean,
Yep.
we said it during the live game commentary. We are not making a big enough deal about this, but 1 for 8 with multiple, almost 2 entire minutes of 5-on-3.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible against the league's worst penalty kill.
Yes, it is the worst penalty kill in the league statistically too. I mean, that should be game over. If the worst PK in the league puts you on the power play 8 times, including 2 almost full-length 5-on-3s,
Yep.
that should be it. You should get enough goals that that there should be enough of a cushion there, and they just could not take advantage.
No. So it's yeah, it's that is what it is. Let's see. Lindsay, very true. Could be worth money someday, and I have 3 other Kraken jerseys to wear. Okay, yeah, if you got 3 others, well, this is not even a debate. Lindsay, I really wish Joey would have gotten a start at CPA. If it were up to me, I would have played Drieger tonight, Joey tomorrow versus LA, and Grew on Friday for the fans to shout Grew one last time this year. I think that's a fabulous plan.
Yeah,
I think that
that
would have
would
been
have
amazing.
perfectly done. Yep.
Yep.
And especially since, Drieger had a really solid game against the Canucks last time they played against him. Grubauer had 2 kind of shaky ones. Drieger, I think, made like 41 saves last time they played each other. I mean, they hung him out to dry, but he did okay.
I was going to say, going back to the preseason, Grubauer has struggled against them.
Yeah. So I think that would have been the perfect way to do it.
Yep. And we were just talking about LA's probably going to rest guys too tomorrow night because it makes all the sense in the world for them too. They've been banged up and they've clinched a playoff spot at this point. They're not playing for anything. So, you would have been able, Joey would have had a good shot tomorrow against LA. It's just, damn. All right. Lindsay pointed out, weirdly enough, all the signed jerseys are number 21, but say Kraken in the nameplate, not Wenberg. I guess for the inaugural season.
Yeah. A team signed jersey that's just Wenberg.
It's like, okay, who were they not moving at the layer?
Yeah.
I was gonna say if at any point they're giving away Victor Rask jerseys, hit me up. Yep. Hunter, what's the most likely draft pick we get after tonight? I would assume it's still third, somewhere between 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, if they're currently at the 3rd seed basically for the lottery, and if they stay there, then the most likely pick that they're going to get is 4th.
Yeah.
At that spot. Actually, the pick they're least likely to get if they're at the 3rd seed is the 3rd pick, funny enough.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that kind of works out. Like odds-wise, yes, it's their lowest odds is to stay at 3. That being said, your average pick would be 3.6. So,
yeah.
If you're looking at
3
it
or
that
4,
way.
yeah, that range.
Let's see, Stratic. My proposal to keep the end of the season interesting, base the seeding on teams' records in the last, let's say, 20 games. Unfairness be damned. It'll happen because the bookies will demand it. I mean, it's creative. It's better than a lot of other things I've heard thrown around.
Yeah, it does make the end of the regular season actually more interesting, but
it would if you kind of like have this little second season thing.
Yep.
Let's see, Scott. Nice top shelf goal there by Geeks. He looked pretty good tonight. He did. That whole fourth line, so fantastic. Yep. Shahan was fantastic on that goal, even right, digging it out in the corner, dishing it out to Geeky, who put himself in a great spot, made a tough angle shot. Donskoy, I thought, played the best he's played in a long time. They were very I mean, what was it at some point you went on Money Puck and it was like 85% of the Kraken's expected goals were them?
Yeah, it was 80-something%. Yeah, expected goal share. And that was pretty far into the game too. I mean, they were playing really well, that whole line. And great for Geeky to get one too, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he needs to finish in the worst way. just try and get a roster spot next season.
For sure. Stratic, wow, signed by the whole team from the first season. That's history in jersey form. It is. I will say, like, weird tangent, probably no one else will care, but I'm an esports guy. Played esports in college. That's what I did, all that stuff. I do have an esports jersey from the first year of the Overwatch League. That's what I played in college for my favorite team, the Dallas Fuel. I got that signed by everybody at the beginning of the year, and I've been waiting to frame that because it is kind of fun to do an inaugural team and remember the excitement of that when things like that are kicking off, just like with the Kraken this year. I think it'd be really fun. So yeah,
that's the other occasion to root for a Dallas-based team.
Yeah, I guess so, as I'm thinking about it. And
when that comment first came, I was like, should I mention the Fuel? But you brought it up here, so worth it.
Yeah, and what an aptly named team, because that turned into a dumpster fire real quick. There's a lot of fuel for that fire. That was a nightmare, but it was still fun. I had a good time. Joey 0 for 4 against Canucks, unacceptable. It's not a rivalry till we win.
Yep. Sure is. And then you hear Hackstall talk about it this morning, too. He's like, rivalries happen to the playoffs. Like, they're made there.
Yeah.
And this is not a rivalry.
Some more frame hits. Lindsay, LMAO at Dylan, thinking I can afford to be a season ticket holder maybe someday. Look, I wasn't, like, inferring you were or you weren't. I was saying, like, those are scenarios where I've seen people do that, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to wear it to 41 games a year or whatever, like that, like I said, you got to commit and go all out for it. But also, I don't know your situation.
Yeah. We believe in you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hunter, I will die on this hill for the Kraken. The defense should get more blame than the goalies. Sloppy turnovers and watching the puck, etc. I'm with you on that one, Hunter.
Yeah.
You will not die alone.
Yeah, I know. It can be both also. I mean, certainly tonight you've got a great case that, like, you look at that fourth goal. That wasn't the defense. It's just that's goaltending. But
it was bringing up Luke Shen like 3 minutes beforehand.
I know. I'm like, can we just talk about how Luke Shen it's so impressive that he's still in the league and doing his thing, and then he scores like 3 minutes later. So yeah, that's my bad. Me and the defense. It's that fault, not the goalies.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's again, like, this feels like an October or November game, RJ. We're having the debate about, is it the goaltender or the defense? What's going on? All this stuff, but we're right back there when Grubauer would let in 1 or 2 leaky ones, but at the same time he was also staring down like 5 or 6 odd man rushes. And it was just like, what is going on? And the bottom line is everybody's bad. And
right, you can take whatever side in the debate, but the fact is, if we're having that debate right now, there's still big problems.
Yeah, and the power play was 1 for 8. The power play sucked too. It's November. This is Groundhog Day. Oh. There you go. Hang it on the ceiling, Lindsay. It's an option. Yeah, I mean, do that, right? Well, maybe you don't want it over your bed. It'll fall and, like, get you in the middle of the night or something, but I was gonna say, hang it over your bed. You can, like, lay in and stare at it. Geo Show, do we maybe want to trade both goalies and see if someone new sticks?
If only you could.
I know. I don't know that we do. I don't know. I so haven't been a fan of Drigger's style this year, and that's part of it. Is like, he gets so weird and aggressive, and he can't control a rebound to save his life, and it bothers me.
The rebound control is tough. I don't mind his style in general, as long as he can just keep those rebounds under control. And when it works, it really works.
Right.
I mean, he's one of those goalies, I think, you put him, you see what, I'm not comparing the two necessarily from a skill perspective, but you see what Jonathan Quick was able to do with an aggressive style when he had a really good defensive team around him. It can just be unstoppable at times.
Yeah.
The Kraken certainly don't have that, as we just covered, but I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. No, and to his credit, he had worked on that recently. And he was looking good. It was really just this last Dallas game that it was just like, again, back to old Drieger. And it was just like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yep.
Yeah. And, shout out maybe to the Kraken D. On a night when you had a defensive pairing of Derek Pouliot and Dennis Chalowski, and we haven't talked about them screwing up at all.
At all. Yeah, no, they were fine.
Go figure.
Good on them.
Good on them. It is. Joey, 3-0 down right out of the gate. That comes down to coaching, and Hackstall has to get the blame. We are unprepared. Certainly, again, stopping negative momentum been an issue. Stopping the bleeding, trying to turn things around. Momentum shifts just do not seem to come from this coaching staff at all.
Yeah, and also just getting the team ready to play at the start of the game. I think there is something to be
Mm-hmm.
said, from a coaching perspective about a responsibility they have to just make sure that a team is ready to play when the puck drops. And they certainly weren't tonight.
Yeah, agreed. And it's just, yeah, again, it's old school. Like, God, I just feel like I'm just having flashbacks to the beginning of the season, everything we're saying. Um, Lindsay, by the way, the patch isn't inaugural season. It's 3-rink rush preseason patch. So I think that makes it even rarer question
Wow.
mark. Potentially, yeah. And I mean, is it signed on the front? Like, will you see that patch if you framed it? It's a
Yeah, that'd be
question
tough
too.
if you frame it. Yeah.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go find the seam line. You're gonna do you're gonna spread it like this, go twice as wide, because you've definitely got the wall space for that. Ty, this game comes down to one thing: lack of leadership in the net. That is all. No excuses.
Clearly, no leadership from that position tonight.
Yep, Hunter Ty turning into a mini hack stall. Yep.
All the leadership was healthy scratched.
Yeah. Clifford, I mean, we beat Calgary 7-1, and they are the second best in the conference, so don't feel bad losing to us 5-2. Yes, we also had a disappointing season, though. Getting some perspective from a Canucks fan there. Yeah, it is what it is. At this point, it was just going to be a pride thing about getting one over on who was supposed to be our rival. Again, yeah. I don't think you can force rivalries. You and I talked about that several times before the season started. It's just not the way it is. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the big picture that's more disappointing than just the one loss.
Yeah. Ty, episode 35 of the deep dive, all about that leadership lull. That's right. If anybody wants the reminders, let's go. Scott, I think Donskoy will be gone in the summer if they keep this coaching staff. He's poorly deployed on the fourth line in PK. This is his worst year since his sophomore season. It's been a nightmare for Donskoy. Definitely someone who got lost in the never-ending lineup changes made throughout the beginning of the year. They could just never find a spot for him. I mean, you remember RJ, like when he was going to be the bumper guy on the power play that was going to make it all work and all that stuff. Like that's where we started. Obviously, him just being unlucky and not scoring is a big part of that, and it is unlucky. But I do think it eventually got to him, and he just kind of broke. Right. And exactly. It's hard to blame him. You're throwing around a strange lineup. Sorry, I'll let you go.
No, it's all right. I mean, he was just doing all the right things, and it just was not working out for him. And at a certain point, he just stopped doing the right things too. Mm-hmm. And then there was really nothing left, and that's kind of what it's been. Although I will say he's played poorly enough that I don't think they can really get rid of him in any way that makes sense this summer. I think they kind of have to hang on and see what he can do and try and move him at the trade deadline.
The only way you move him is if it's a 1-for-1, you take on somebody else's kind of, struggling larger contract player.
And I could be open to something like that.
Right. And that's,
and it could work out for the team acquiring him too.
It could. So I was just trying to see his cap at like the Donov an option.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you're helping Vegas though, like you're saving them.
Yeah, well,
money,
you need them to throw in a draft pick.
Yeah, but that was the first person who came to mind who's in a situation like that.
Well, the Vegas is going to want to take on 3.9 for. They were going to want to clear out that whole cap.
Yeah. X-Kid Z, Muckleshoot bathroom break has absolutely become official. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 for 8.
1 for 8.
I don't even know what that is as a percentage. It's low. It's like 16%.
Let's see, 13%. I think I looked at.
Oh yeah, 12.5 or something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I looked up 7 for 8 and it was 87.5. So you can do the math. 12.5.
Well, I won't. Yeah. We don't trust me to do that. Reading ID, Lola, look forward to your end of season player rankings based on leadership. I can't wait for those either. Reading ID, those are going to be awesome. Ty in the house tomorrow night. Do with that info what you must. I've seen a win now. Looking forward to seeing who won the 4,000 ticket giveaway. Yes, got that giveaway. And again, thanks so much for donating that ticket, Ty. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully you have fun tomorrow. It should be good. I think
Hmm.
it's all uphill from here. You're
Yeah,
gonna
no, I agree, and I think let's see. I'm looking at the schedule. I mean, none of the teams the Kraken play from now, for the rest of the season have anything to play for.
right.
So that's a good, good sign for some wins, hopefully.
And like I said, the Kings especially have the least to be trying
Right.
hard for. And
Yeah,
so
all they're
it's
doing is endangering, their players potentially, for injuries, whatnot. They almost have incentive to rest guys versus,
yeah,
the Sharks and Jets are just it's whatever.
playing for pride and stuff still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, reading ID, so much for the Kraken Canucks rivalry. Real rivalry is between the 5 and the 2. that is, that is true. Ty, end of the season must go back and re-listen to episode 2 of the deep dive. It's full of fun about the picks, and I had a blast with my re-listen. All right, I got to go back and re-listen to that one because
Yes.
you've been pushing
Yeah, we
this for
have
a
to do
little
that.
while now, Ty. I got to go back. It's all a blur, all the early podcast days.
I know. Because you're still trying to just figure stuff out.
Lindsay, like I told RJ at the KCI watch party, the group in front of me was watching the Vegas Dallas game and erupted into cheers when Vegas lost. The Vegas hate is real. I know we joked about the anybody but Vegas shirts, RJ, but we really should have.
I know. I feel like some people would have hopped on board with that.
I think that would have been our good foray into the all the other fan bases and stuff before the playoffs started. Like, Stratic. I know we should offer sheet Jake Ottinger.
Do have the draft capital to get it done. Actually, no, because the problem it's a first and a third.
Yes.
You can't give up the first this year.
No. It's I was gonna say I just can't wait to pair up Striatic and Ty in this how much do you offer sheet Jake Ottinger based on his leadership in net.
Yes, that is the question.
That's the the conversation / TED Talk thing we want to have happen. Lindsay, plus the way Vegas handled the Leonard injury on top of everything else with the little pukey emoji there, is unbelievably horrible.
Yes, just terrible. I mean, like, I tweeted about it already, but like, what if he's forced to come in and play a game, risking long-term health of one of your players because you can't manage the cap?
Yeah, the league's got to do something about that because I feel like everybody kind of looked the other way on the Tampa situation, the Kucherov thing, because everybody was like, well, look, I'm going to want that if I'm ever in that position. Yeah. Like, that's essentially what everybody did. But this is like all the stuff Vegas has been doing coming together, the Dodonov trade fiasco, this, like, everything. I just
and
think...
Kucherov's not even like harmed, but the player isn't harmed by that Tampa thing. This one, the player is.
Yeah, like the union should be getting involved in this.
Right.
So we'll see what the fallout is. Ty, we're talking through the Dallas game in the live stream too. Yeah, we were. I mean, there was legit times like first intermission, we're just watching the Dallas game. It was fun.
Yeah, I had 2 screens up here. Yeah.
JMG, do you have confidence in Hackstall to make improvements to be successful next season? I think in the last 10 or so games, I've seen him make improvements, and that has given me some confidence.
I have some level of confidence about it. I wouldn't say an exceptionally high degree of confidence, but I think you take the adjustments that he's shown he's capable of making to tweak things and make them a little bit better, combine that with what should be a much more talented roster with a lot more options at his disposal, and I certainly think that there can be improvement, as a whole.
Yeah, I was going to say, give him one more talented goal scorer, league average goaltending, and league average power play. It's gonna look, yeah, your perception of him will be completely different. And that's not even necessarily anything he'll have changed himself, but that is part of it with coaching. Let's see, Hunter, just immediate no. To that. Scott, Vegas was spoon fed by Bettman. Hey, Arizona might take offense to that. They are Bettman's baby, even more so.
yeah, but doesn't mean Vegas isn't.
Yeah. Let's see. X-Kid Z Beniers back on the points board. Thoughts on his play tonight? First off, that pass was incredible.
Yes. I mean, I liked what you said there. Like he knew exactly where he was going with it before he even got the puck. He can see he can see 2 steps ahead,
Hmm.
like exactly where he's going, and just what a pass.
Yeah. Otherwise, still kind of struggling with some things. I feel like he was better those 3 games at Climate Pledge at gaining zone entries. He was more creative
Mhm.
about it. I think the endless transition drills that the Kraken run are starting to seep in. They're rooting him like everybody
Unfortunately,
else who gets there. They look great at the beginning, and now it's but yeah, I don't know.
the eagerness to learn is backfiring.
Yeah, exactly. That is a problem. That being said, he is still just so much more talented and confident in trying to make plays like that. Kind of no look backhand pass right across the crease to Jordan Eberle. Like nobody else on the Kraken does stuff like that. Like they just don't even think about it. And
Right.
that at the end of the day is gonna tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so the jersey is signed on the back. Stratic asking if it's signed by the preseason team or season-ending team. That is a
Oh
good
yeah, it'd be
point.
interesting to see at what point, because you could probably pinpoint it based on which signatures are there.
Exactly. That is something that I'm curious about. Seattle Sasquatch. Anyone who thinks Hackstall will be here when Seattle is routinely challenging for a playoff spot is dreaming. He's the textbook example of a coach who is hired to be fired. Francis seems to have a plan, amass draft picks, load up the farm, and compete in 3 to 4 years. This means they tread water for the first 2 or 3 and then swap coaches. I think that was definitely the plan. I mean, Francis said as much. If we were now, it's hard to always believe executives in these situations, right? But that is what he was always saying. I think that plan disappeared halfway through this year when the team was so bad and everybody was feeling the pressure from like season ticket holders that might be upset that they had to buy at least 3 years worth of season tickets, and this is what they were getting so far.
Yeah, I don't think the plan was to be this bad this early in the season too, where you're out of it by Thanksgiving. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone planned on that, and I think it may have, changed things a little bit. But didn't we talk about like when Hackstall was first hired in the summer? We talked about
Yeah.
like, this might be one of those kind of transition coaches
Yep.
where you bring him in, and then when you're ready to compete, you bring in someone else.
Yeah, and I do agree with that, and I think that's probably where we're headed. I haven't seen anything this year to change my mind, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Ty, I've been quite sad at my past Avs. Gru has at least had some good games though, and I do see him clicking with his top defenders. Donskoy, don't get me started, lol. It's been a rough year
It
for him.
has.
It's just unfortunate. Um, Lindsay, did anyone else find it shocking that Vancouver has the third best power play in the league, only behind the Leafs and Rangers, 2 playoff teams? Not really. I mean, they have offensive talent. You could argue that that's really what they should excel in, and arguably the only thing they should excel in.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely have the talent there, and players that also would seem to excel in that situation, maybe even more than 5-on-5, like an Elias Pettersson.
Mm-hmm.
You let that skill really go to work, and size and that sort of thing doesn't matter as much. And of course, the tear that JT Miller is on. When you have a 100-point player, a lot of that's going to help the power play.
Yeah, I think that's really what did it is JT Miller just having this crazy season. But yes, Pedersen and Quinn Hughes, like you have creative guys like that plus finishers like Horvat can be, but certainly a Besser like that's just recipe for power play goodness.
Yep.
Um, Geo Show, Kraken are paying the fourth most for goaltending of the 10 teams paying the most for goaltending. Only 4 are making the playoffs. Goaltending seems to be a risky investment. RJ, would you like to comment?
Gladly. Yes. Do not pay for goalies. Pray for goalies. It just rarely ever works out. Goaltending is so random as far as the results that you'll get at the position from one year to the next.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to spend big money on goaltending, and the Kraken are getting a very good lesson why that's the case this season.
Yeah, unless you think you have Andre Vasilevsky, like it has
Mm-hmm.
to be like that obvious. This guy is good forever before I'd consider paying a goaltender. And maybe I am more generous than you when it comes to this. Like
Yes.
that is on the record, but even I will admit it is not the place to be spending money.
Yeah.
Really. Ty, you will have fun, I promise. Episode 2, you guys were on it and nailed a lot of them. What is this episode? Like, I'm so
Okay,
curious
it's
now.
from August. I looked it up. I
Okay.
glanced down at my phone here because I was interested enough. So RJ and Dylan discussed the Kraken's three big free agent signings,
All
the
right.
Philip Grubauer contract mistake, future offseason moves the Kraken could make. Yeah, remember that one?
Yep. Okay.
Vince Dunn filing for arbitration. How good we expect the Kraken to be this season? I feel like we didn't hit that one.
No.
Uh, the outlook for a Jack Eichel trade and quick hits on news from around the NHL. We definitely have to go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, we do. That is gonna be fun. Hunter, league average power play might be a stretch. It would be. I'm just saying, if you give us that, this team looks different. The
Yep.
perception of Hackstall would be different. But yeah, that's a big if. Stratic, if the Kraken lose the lottery and end up picking sixth or whatever, is whoever the Kraken could pick at six going to be better than Jake Ottinger and his sparkling career 913 save percentage? I don't ever want to hear you talk to me about Victor Rask again.
Oh yes, that what an argument there.
There we go. I've joined it now. It ties net leadership and Stratix Jake Ottinger. Um, the answer is yes, by the way. Especially because we'd have to pay Jake Ottinger $5.5 million. We just talked
Yeah.
about you don't pay goaltending, no matter how adorable the otters on their masks are. Kepler, what do you think of Sprong? Had one nice pass on the power play. I
I
think,
know the pass you're talking
yeah.
about. I pointed this out during the live stream.
Do you want to give your full thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, he's did what Sprong usually does. I mean, he had some moments offensively where I thought he, kind of flashed some skill. He had that one really nice pass. As much as the power play struggled, I thought he was okay on it, kind of performing his role. But yeah, still defensively, work needed. He kind of had a very Sprongy game.
Yeah, and I concur. Seattle Sasquatch, is Arizona Bettman's version of Ristolainen and Chuck Fletcher? Fletcher made a horrible trade and went all in when he re-signed him. I forgot that happened.
Yep.
Like, legitimately, like following the Kraken this year, not being a Penguins fan, I've for a large part of the season just forgotten the Flyers existed, which has been blissful. Very happy about that. But yes, you could. I would say that's probably a good comparison there.
Yeah, except Bettman, it just goes even further. It's still this is like re-signing a 40-year-old Ristolainen to $5 million a year. Just
Yes,
keep going.
yes.
Have
When
fun,
Chuck
put the
Fletcher
pucks in the net. Yeah.
when Chuck Fletcher extends Ristolainen at the end of this contract, you just could start talking about that. Again, I will say, Gary Bettman, you did it. You created Austin Matthews. You had the kid come from Arizona, be the first pick. He scored 60 goals today. You know what I mean? Like, got to 60 today. He's the best goal scorer in the league right now, and he's in your top market. Like, you literally did it. Like the thing we
You
all
won.
called you crazy for, you accomplished. Pack it up, take the win, and go home.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, we need a Rask report from Stratic there. I mean, I
Mhm.
talked about it. I don't like his usage on the power play. I'd like to see. Who did I bring up? I wanted to see on the power play instead of him. Crud. Who was it?
Who was it?
Somebody, but I did
Shea
say
and
that.
Geeky Donskoy. No.
Yeah, no, it wasn't one of them. But I don't think that he works
Kuhlman.
as. Yeah, Coolman. I don't think that he works as a trigger man on the power play. If you're going to use him, he has to be net front there, and they're not.
Yep.
I think Coolman would be far more dynamic on your power play. And, there was that one where he had kind of a sparkling chance up front, and he just couldn't get his stick on it. I don't know. It didn't really jump over his stick. I felt like he maybe could have gotten his stick on it. But he was also okay defensively. So, there you go. And he was apparently good enough to center Donskoy and Geeky for a little while.
One shift, yeah.
Yeah, which they were the best line tonight. They were part of 2/3 of the best line. So obviously there was something going on there. Hunter, while we're talking about Arizona, I'm definitely going to a game in that college arena next year when they play the Kraken. Go for it. I'm still kind of weirdly excited by this idea.
I know it's going to be a great experience. Like, definitely go for it if you get the chance.
Yeah. I'm also still curious if they're going to make more money than they did in the traditional arena.
They're not. They're gonna cook the numbers as much as they possibly can, but I don't think they are.
There has to be a reason the other NHL teams agreed to it, RJ.
Yeah, maybe it won't be as bad as we think.
I mean, you see, they're going to charge $89, the cheapest season ticket per game price.
I did see that.
Like,
Yeah, we got to run the numbers.
That's it's going to be close at least.
Yeah.
Scott, if the Oilers go out early, I can see Drieger headed to Edmonton. I can too. It's going to be interesting.
Although I wonder if that's on his no trade list.
If I was a goaltender, I'd fight for a one team no trade list, no matter how like bad I was. I'd be like, just give me this, and it's Edmonton.
Yeah, so because he has a 10-team no trade list, so we'll see if they're on that.
But it's Vegas.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. That's why you gotta be patrons next year. Everybody, get in for conversations like that. A little spicy hint. Seattle teams can't all have a Hasek, but even he had a somewhat decent defense. This includes forwards who are responsible in their own end. It's been an issue this year for the Kraken as well. Again, it's one of those team things. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah, you need everyone to be pulling in the right direction.
Yeah. Ty, oh man, big sale in the lair tomorrow night. This could be dangerous for me. Just saying, got a jersey for every day but Sunday.
Yep, that's the time.
Scott, agree on Sprong, good skater too. He balances out Rask's choppiness.
They do complement each other well in a weird way.
Yeah, they do. I was trying to think of a good comeback, but I'm too tired.
There you go.
Ty, Groovy gave out a stick tonight. Don't tell Medeiros, lol. I know. Hey, didn't see Medeiros on the broadcast in the third period. We were all rooting for it. I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's possible it happened, but we would have seen it on.
Yeah,
we would have seen it on Twitter. Somebody would have posted it.
That's true.
Bummer. Clifford, that is true. The rivalry will begin the first time we meet in the playoffs. That'll for sure kick it off. But yeah. We got to get a win in first. Exactly. It has to start
teams
there.
Have to get in. Yeah.
Yeah. Stratic, I feel that stick may have been intended for Medeiros, but she wasn't at the tunnel at the right time. That kid who did get it looks stoked, though. How could you not?
Oh yeah, it's gonna make that kid's year. Like that's awesome.
It is cool. Scott, Coyotes should be in Houston. It hasn't worked for a quarter century. So saying it's been a long time. You stuck it out again. You got Austin Matthews. That was the win. That was everything. That was what the plan was. The crazy, insane supervillain plan. You pulled it off.
Yep. I know NHL to Houston does follow us on Twitter, so NHL to Houston.
A huge market. It's good sports town. Ty, one thing not being talked about too often I'm enjoying, teams lining up to say goodbye to Gretzky only in hockey. I love it. Oh, Getzey, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, Gretzky retired a long time ago, Ty. Yes, I have noticed that, and it's been cool. And I think it shows. He's been somebody. League, as those of you new to the NHL will discover. West Coast doesn't really exist all that often in the NHL sphere, and so him playing his whole career out here on the West Coast has been one of those things. And again, never the sexiest of player. He was always going to be one of those guys that's going to get his assists and whatever. But I am happy because he's been a great leader for a team in a non-traditional market, and he's been a fantastic player to watch. Like, again, talk about fundamentals all day long and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I am happy that he's getting that recognition and everybody's doing that stuff for him.
Yep, and especially from teams that were big rivals at the time too. They played a lot of fierce games against each other, and you see the respect that they have for him.
Exactly. Seattle Sasquatch. That was very emotional seeing the farewells. It is sad. I mean, I'm trying to think. Let's see. He was drafted in the 03 draft because everybody was, but he wasn't really a regular till around 05.
Mm-hmm.
But I started when we moved back down south here. I really started that the year they ended up winning the cup in 07. And so that was really right when that kid line of him, Perry, and they had Bobby Ryan and Pennery all in there. I was really there for them kind of becoming the new faces of the franchise and being around. So yeah, like most of my life I've grown up watching him going to those Ducks games. It's going to be weird when he's gone. It was weird when Perry left.
Yeah, it was.
Ty, it's the big rivals doing the love. It's so cool to see. Yeah, it is, and that's again, it's how you know you've made it when you get that respect. Well deserved for sure. Getting it all done with that Chrome Dome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other element to it.
When he finally started to embrace it, that was the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
All the commercials they made. Yeah, all right, so we'll do a last call on this. We actually had a decent turnout tonight in there.
Yeah.
We had a decent amount of people. Thanks everybody for joining us for this one. Yes, so
I have this.
Go for it.
I have a theory that just like sometimes, coming off the win streak and you have the loss, it's all disappointing. You maybe get a little bit less. And around the third loss in a row, everyone kind of just decides to accept it. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Do this
I don't feel disappointed. I'm used to it. I can talk about this now. I don't need to avoid it.
Yeah, and, we had the, it was a fun-ish game against the Canucks, so you got that element. Yeah. I also wonder how much just 7 o'clock start. Like, it fits with everybody's schedule, and those last two, Friday and Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
After abysmal games, I hope everybody had something better to do.
And like during Mariners games too. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of stuff conspiring against us there. Note that a Claude Lemieux would never get such respect. No.
Nope. Definitely not.
There's probably a good reason for that. Ty, I need a fun post game tomorrow. Driving back 3 hours after the game. Lol. Hey, we'll try. We'll try.
We'll do our best.
It's partly on us, partly not on us. We take what we are given, but yeah, no, we'll try to make it a good one. Like I said, I'm very optimistic about it. Coming back to Climate Pledge, the arena was so crazy the last time they were there, beating Colorado. So loud, everybody was so into it. I gotta think that that's gonna play into it. They're gonna be excited to play in front of their home fans again because you could tell how much it meant to them. And like, again, it's not gonna hurt that LA is probably not going to be 100% focused on playing.
Yep, I'd say so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is a good last one, real quick, from Hunter. What's one thing you would change to the arena for next season?
I have my answer already queued up. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I'd put that little mini rink like they have in Dallas outside. I've tweeted about that twice. It'd be so fun.
You have. I know you want that. There is no reason not to. Have a couple.
There's so much room.
There is.
Like if you walk around the arena, there is a ton of space to put something like that there. Everyone would love it.
You even have like little corners where it really wouldn't impact traffic or anything at all. Like,
not at all. Like
that one over on what is it, the northwest side or whatever? Like it's just concrete and then the like stairs that kind of come down over here, but like there's plenty of space right there. It'd just be in a corner, like nobody's there anyway. I don't know, it'd be cool. I like that suggestion. I think that's a good one. I don't know. I've only been to a handful of games, and some of those were in November when they didn't really have anything happening. So just this last one was
the arena was the suggestion.
Yeah, really. Give me a mascot that we can have dangling from the rafters and catching on fire. That's what I would do to improve. Gotta go for the full California special.
Love it.
That should be. We should do hockey trivia, RJ.
That'd be fun.
For one of these streams, and see if people can guess that. Which mascot was stuck dangling from the rafters, and which one caught himself on fire? Jumping through a flaming hula hoop that he had no business fitting through to begin with. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, that would be fun though.
It would be. Fix the dead pixel. Hey, I did not see it when I was there, Stratic. So I believe that they have.
Well, I think they have. Yep.
There was one out in the concourse.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to fix all the dead pixels in the entire. There are a lot of screens in that arena.
There's a lot of pixels in there, but yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us, making this one fun one, and thanks again those of you that were joined us for the Patreon stream and are still here with us right now. That's super awesome of you. Glad to have shared the last 4-ish, almost 4 hours with you. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks everybody who joined us for this post game. Again, it was a good one. I like these when we can come off a loss and still have fun, talk about it
Hmm.
constructively, not just rag on things. I think it's a good atmosphere, and I really appreciate it. So thanks everybody for that, and we will see you all next time.